Hello, Keith Ruck here at VintageMachinery.org. Well, the shop is pretty much done, at least on the outside. I'm through with my contractor. That's the good news. I guess if there is a bad news, we still got an awful lot of work to do in here. So this week, guys, I thought I'd put together for you another odds and ends video. Quite honestly, the past couple of weeks really been crazy for me. This is a really busy time of year. Been doing a lot of traveling on the road. We've had a lot of family stuff going on, Easter last weekend, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Bottom line is that what little bit of time that I've had to do anything shop related, spending here, pulling wire. And we're going to give you a little tour of the shop here in just a minute to kind of show you what everything looks like now that we've pretty much done again with the outside of the building. But before we do that, I want to take you in. We do have a few viewer appreciation items that have come in the mail in the last week or two, and I want to share those with you guys. So let's go over here to the other shop, and we'll go through those, and then we'll come down here and give you the grand tour and show you where we're at on the new shop. So first thing I was going to show you guys, this isn't actually viewer mail here, but it was laying out on the bench because I was cleaning these up the other day, and I thought I'd go ahead and show them to you. But when I bought my lathe and my grinder and the other stuff that I got from the big estate that I picked up some things from, I was able to get a lot of tooling and a lot of other stuff that went along with it. And I've been slowly it's just kind of in a pile over here, and I've been slowly going through it. A lot of it had surface rust on it. It wasn't bad, but it just needed to be cleaned up. So I've been letting it soak in evaporust and cleaning it up a little bit at a time. And anyway, these were in this lot of things that I picked up, and I thought I'd show you them. So what are these? These are Lathe Dogs for turning in between centers on the lathe. So you would maybe have a shaft or a mandrel that you mounted something on, and you would put it between centers on the lathe, and you would need to be able to turn it. And what you would do with this is slide this up over the shaft, tighten up this bolt, and the little arm here goes up to the chuck or whatever, and that's what actually is turning it. But they call these Lathe Dogs. And I got a nice set from large to small, pretty much a complete set here, up to 2 inches. And down to, I don't know, that's probably maybe ½ inch. Vulcan number 1, it doesn't have a size on it, but very nice selection. I was excited to get these. I've got a few Lathe Dogs of just miscellaneous sizes that I use a lot when I'm turning between centers, but this is really going to set me up and really give me a good selection to choose from. There are a couple of duplicate sizes in here, but for the most part, you know, it's a good complete set. That's the bottom line, and a couple of extras thrown in for good measure. But anyway, thought I'd show you that, and we'll be showing you some other stuff from that big haul of machinery that I brought over as I get things ready to show you. So anyway, here you go, Lathe Dogs. So next item here, I got a little tube in the mail the other day, and it was very nicely packaged. I opened up the cardboard tube, and there was a piece of PVC pipe in there. And inside the PVC pipe, we got some rods here. And I'm not going to tell you who these came from because he asked me not to use his name, and I'll honor that. But I will tell you a little bit about these and what he told me about them. So what these are actually cast iron rods for doing cast iron welding repair. And I need to do a little bit more research on these. I'm not going to open these all the way up, I think, to find out a little bit more about them. And I think there is a video out there that shows some of this stuff being used. But these, let's see, he did send me a little information. These are what's called Cast Weld, KASTWLD 111 from Harris Weld Co. And basically, from what I understand, you use these like a brazing rod, but instead of using brass, you're actually using this cast iron filler to go down into it. So I've never used this kind of stuff before. I'm not really sure about flux or anything like that, or what you need to use with it. I'm kind of curious to try this. I really like the concept of repairing the cast iron with a cast iron type rod. I'm not sure this is true cast iron or some type of iron material. I would think that it would probably have to melt at a little bit lower brazing point, but it is a brazing type material, but using more of a iron type filler rod rather than bronze is what you'd use in regular brazing. So again, don't know a lot about these, have never tried them, but he wanted to send me a few. He's had good luck with them. There's two different sizes here. Some of these are round rods, these here are kind of square rods. But I'm probably just going to get something and do a little practicing with these and just see how they work before I actually try to use them in a repair, because I'm pretty comfortable brazing. I've done enough of it. I know how the material works and flows and have a pretty good feel for it. But going to something new before I actually start trying to use it on a project that I'm wanting to, something, a true repair, I think I want to do a little practicing with it. So maybe a video down the road, we'll give these a try and see how they work, and I'll share my experience with you guys. But kind of excited to try something different out. So anyway, to our mystery person that sent these along, I know who you are. Thanks a lot. Again, I'm pretty excited about trying this. I do doing repair work, particularly out at the museum. Cast iron repair is something that we run into time and time again, and I really like the brazing process, and I've had very good luck with brazing. I'm happy with brazing, but I am open to trying something new. So this is kind of a different take on brazing. So anyway, we're going to give these a try. Thanks a lot. The next box I got here, it comes from Rick Siegfried, who is out in California, and he contacted me a while back, asked for my address, wanted to send me along something, and he told me what he was sending, and this is pretty cool. So let's pull this out, and I'll zoom you guys in here, and we'll show you what Rick sent along. I've said it before, I always love to open up a box and see a Starett box in there. Starett. He sent me along a Starett box, as long as two little blue Inco boxes. And let's show you what's in these. So first off, in the little Inco box, we have a little machinist square. That looks like, what, about a probably 2 inch. Yeah, so 2 1/4 inches there. Nice little cute little square. I don't think I have one that size. And in the other Inco box, have another nice little square. Let's see, this one here is 3 1/4 inches. So two nice little squares. Might have one about this size. I don't think I got a little small one like this. This one right here is going to come in handy for sure. And well, both of them will come in handy, but I may already have one somewhere close to that size. I'm not sure yet, which is fine because, with the new shop going up here at the house, and I'm still wanting to do work out at the museum, I'm basically going to have to put together another set of tools so that I can have tools at the museum and here at the house. So some of these duplicate stuff is really going to come in handy, and probably the tools that I put out at the museum, I'm going to try to find a box to put them in, and we're just going to donate all that stuff to the museum to be used out there. So that's kind of my plan with me getting the shop here at the house, and going to be moving some of my stuff here. I still want to have the ability to do that out there, so still very handy. And the Starett box, let's see, it's open it up, another square, and what we have here is a 12-inch Starett number 20 master machinist square. Can't see it all in the frame there, but that is, he told me it was a 12-inch, that looks about right. So that is indeed 12 inches, maybe 1/8 of an inch longer than 12. This here is another extremely nice instrument. So a couple of weeks ago, I got that big 24-inch Starett number 20 master square, and this 12-inch one here will go very nicely with that one. And this is I mentioned before I was looking for some larger squares, and this is exactly what I needed. That big 24-inch square, and that thing's going to come in handy. This one here is really going to come in handy because there's been a lot of times I need something in this size, and you know, you can't beat Starett, so very nice. Anyway, thank you very much. Some very nice tools again to add to the arsenal of to be able to draw from when needed for different projects. Very nice to have the box that this goes in. And these little smaller squares are going to come in handy as well, so thanks a lot. This next item that came in the mail is really kind of cool, and I really like homemade stuff, something that somebody else takes the time to make, and this is the case here. And Paul and I have actually been talking back and forth via email for some time now as he's been working on this project. And he told me a long time ago he was going to do it, and basically what he has sent me here is this little setup. And what this is a pyrometer for using in my casting, and it's the complete setup here, pretty much everything you need to go. So what you got down here is a piece of graphite tube that a thermocouple will go down inside of, and he even sent the thermocouple. I've had to assemble this, and I haven't got it completely assembled, but I wanted to kind of show you what's going on. Spring loaded here so it doesn't get damaged, but you basically can stand back, drop this down into your metal, and up here on the handle he has a digital readout that will convert the electrical signal that comes off the thermocouple to degrees, so that I can know what temperature the metal is for a pour. And the really neat thing about this is he built this totally from scratch, and when I say totally from scratch, I mean even the electronics in here. He told me he's a kind of an amateur electronics guy. He even put together everything in here to make this work, and it took a little while to do. So the wooden handle here, he told me, was salvaged off of a hockey stick. I probably would not have known that. Being from the South, hockey's not exactly a sport that's super popular down here, at least not with the native Southerners. We have a lot of people who have relocated down here. I think Atlanta actually has a hockey team now. Never been to a hockey game. But anyway, diverse. He sent me, this handle was made off of a hockey stick. But everything's ready to go here, and I am really excited to try this thing out once I get my foundry up and going. Like I said, he sent along the thermocouple. There's a lighter duty thermocouple. This one won't work for metal, but I think he got it somewhere along the way when he ordered some components and it came, so he just sent it to me. I got a little extension cord here. Anyway, I've got to finish putting some of this together. He ordered some graphite to make the little protective tube down there, and he sent along the extra here. This needs to be drilled out and done. If I break that one, I can. And the neat thing about this setup too is also, you know, I had another one of my viewers, also from Canada, send down a pyrometer setup not long ago. It didn't have the whole stick, but it had the thermocouple, and I had another person send me a longer ceramic tube. All that stuff will work with this. So the same box will be calibrated to use pretty much any thermocouple. So I can use all that other stuff and be able to just plug it right into this, which is kind of neat as well. So anyway, very excited. Paul, thank you so much for taking the amount of time and effort that you put into doing this. You know, it's one thing to, and I'm not, it's one thing, I guess, if you have something laying around that you're not using and sending it on, which is great, don't get me wrong, but it's a whole nother thing when you take literally months of time and effort and research and putting together a project to send along for someone to use like this. And the craftsmanship, the little box up here, it's finger jointed, very well put together. That's not tight on there right now, which is why it's wobbling, but really a neat setup and something that's going to be extremely helpful to me once I get to casting. And let me comment too, because I'm getting a lot of messages and emails from guys. Hey, what about the foundry furnace? You know, I think a lot of people are really excited about the foundry furnace. I know I have a lot of people who are probably only watching my channel because of the foundry furnace, and I keep jumping around from project to project. Well, I apologize for that. We're going to get back onto the foundry furnace as soon as I can. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, right now, pretty much all of my time and effort is going into the new shop building. I've got to get my electrical work finished down there, and I do have a little project I'm going to work on this weekend that's not in the shop, but it's something that I need to do, and you guys will get to probably see that next week. I'm not going to give you out any hints on it right now, but the furnace is very high on my list, but unfortunately right now there's just a few things a notch or two above it. We're going to get back to that pretty quickly, and hopefully be melting some metal soon. So don't give up on me. We're going to get there. So that's pretty much what has come in this last week or two in the mail. Oh, something else that Paul sent along. This is kind of neat. This is a little chart. He laminated it and it says melting point of common metals. So I get asked all the time, you know, well, what temperature does aluminum melt, or brass or bronze? And I can't ever remember. I have to look it up. So now I've got a nice little chart here. When I start doing foundry work and I'm using my pyrometer, I'll need to know what temperature I'm shooting for melting points and pouring points and all that. So very handy as well. But let's pack up, go outside, and I'm going to give you guys a shop tour and show you what's going on down there. Well, here it is, guys. It's finished up, at least on the outside now. So my contractors got through with me totally last week. I think last Tuesday week ago, they pretty much had it all done except for a few little odds and ends, and they came back in a day or two later and knocked out just some little small nitpicky things. Some of them were some things, you know, I found after they had kind of finished up that they needed to just finish up or what have you. But pretty much done with those guys now. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but you know, this project, as I have lamented, has taken a little bit longer than I anticipated. I'm very happy with the job my contractors did. They did an absolutely fabulous job building the building. It looks great. It's very well built. The craftsmanship that they put into this, I think, is above average compared to work that I'm seeing being done by a lot of crews out there. And as frustrating as it was to have to kind of wait on them a few times as they were working on other jobs, you know, they told me up front that you know, they were going to have to do that. And quite honestly, they apologized very much. That I think they ended up getting a lot more work come in over the last month or two than they anticipated, and this project got strung out longer than they really thought it was going to. Longer than I thought it was going to, but that's water under the bridge. I'm very happy with what they did, and I would recommend those guys. They do a great job. But anyway, they got the siding on the top, got the windows put in the top, got the doors put on, so pretty much everything done. So let's kind of get you around here, and I'm going to show you around a little bit of what's going on, give you just a few little details, and kind of show you things as it's done now. So as you should have seen at the beginning of the video, of course I got my roll-up doors in now in the front and in the back of the building. When I open these up, I get a nice cross breeze through here, which is really nice. And of course we got the other entry doors around the building as well. Also, we came in and poured just a little concrete slab here, a little apron outside the door, just so that when we're bringing machinery in or whatever, I'm working on something, if I want to roll it out, if I'm doing some sanding or whatever, and I don't want to have a mess inside the shop, I wanted to be able to roll things out and work on it outside. So this is 18 by 18 feet, so you know, it's not huge, and it's not huge, but it should be big enough to do what I want to do. And also got a little sidewalk going up to the front door there. We don't have any electricity in here yet. I'm still working on the electrical. As soon as I get that signed off, we can get the electricity hooked up. So I think I've talked about it before. I wanted to get some natural light inside the building. Not so much direct sunlight, but just some filtered natural light coming in. So we've got, of course, the 4 windows on the the south side of the building, which is where most of the light will be coming from. And those will help me in some ventilation as well as just not feeling closed in. I decided not to put windows on the north side of the building for a couple of reasons. Number one, I probably at some point in time I'm going to put a little side shelter over there, a little lean-to shelter, and I just didn't want to be looking out into junk. And also that side of the building isn't as secure as this side. It's a little bit more out of sight, out of mind, and I was just worried about having windows that someone could climb into and not being able to see them from the house or the road or whatever. So just decided not to put any windows on the back side. Up top, I've got 4 windows on each side up in the clear story, and those are strictly for just bringing some light into the building. They do not open or close. Those are recycled windows. I actually bought some window sashes from a little junk store here just south of town here that had some for sale, and I think I paid $100 for 12 windows, and each window had 2 sashes in it. Which is more than what I needed, but that's just what he had, and that's what we worked out. I took the sashes off, and what we did is I literally took them apart, sanded them, cleaned them up, repainted them, put new glass in, reglazed them, did all that work myself, and then basically just restored those windows. And they're put up there. Again, they do not open and close. It'd be nice if I could open that up for ventilation, but quite honestly, it's just aggravating to have to deal with that, and I didn't want to spend the money on the kind that you can open and close from the bottom. It was just outside of my budget. My main purpose was light. So I do have an exhaust fan up here in the back that I can turn on in the summertime and pull some of that heat out through the top, but again, that's just strictly for light. We got those up, and of course you got the siding up on the top. Let's see, I'll show you some other stuff. So what I have been focusing my time and effort on the last couple of weeks is doing electrical work in here, and I haven't had a whole lot of time to do it. It's mostly been come home from work if I have an hour or two in the evening, and I've been, like I told you at the beginning, I've been doing a lot of traveling lately. I've had a lot of family stuff going on, so just haven't had a lot of time. But we're making good progress on the electrical, and I've been doing it all myself. So this is my main breaker box. We have the power literally coming in. The meter is just on the other side of the wall here. That will be bringing the power in. It goes into the main panel. Right now I'm only doing single phase in here. I will have a rotary phase converter to do 3-phase for my machinery, but I'm not really doing any wiring, at least not right now for that. I will do some 3-phase wiring later on, but right now I'm just trying to get all the single phase stuff in here, the basic electrical stuff that needs to be done. And with a stud frame, you know, we're basically putting most of the stuff in wall. I know some of you guys are saying, hey, you need to put it in conduit. You'll really appreciate that later. Well, if I need to add stuff later, I can come back and put conduit in. But the stuff I'm putting in here now, it's not going to get moved around. We may add to it down the road, and I'm going to have plenty of extra space to do that. But the stuff I'm putting in, it's not going to get moved around. So I've got the main panel on this side of the building. I actually have a sub panel over on the other side. We got 100 amps out of this panel. It's supposed to be a 200 amp service. I got 100 amps going over to a sub panel. And I decided to do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, because of the way the building's built with the clear story and with the big beams in here, it just is not easy to get a lot of wiring from one side of the building to the other. Having to go through the beams, and it's just not a clear shot. So I decided I'd just put a sub panel in over there, and that way I can pull all the wire on the south side out of the sub panel and the north side out of this side, and then we'll be sure to get what we need to in the middle part. We can get some wires over there, but it's difficult. And then two, it's actually saving me money because of the cost of all the copper. Having the sub panel over there, as many circuits as I pulled out of that sub panel box, just the money saving and having to run my copper, you know, over, up, around, back down, and back over here. You know, I'm probably saving 60, 70 foot of copper on every pull just by having that, on every circuit, just by having that box on the other side. So even though I have some extra costs in putting it in there. I think it's actually going to save me money. I know it saved me a lot of time doing the electrical work. We've pretty much got all the receptacle boxes mounted in here now. We've got the wire pulled to them in circuits. I've told you guys previously on those, I have the receptacles about every 10 feet, and there's 2 receptacles in each box that comes down, so 4 plugs. And I know some of you guys are saying, that's not enough, you're going to need more. I think it'll be enough. I think, I probably will never be able to have one exactly where I want it every time, but I think it's not going to be a problem to work with what I've got. And if I need to pull a dedicated circuit somewhere, I can. Because most of my machinery is 3-phase, the single-phase stuff, the 110 stuff, there's really not a lot of machinery going to be hooked up to it. It's just more, something I need to plug in, hand tool or what have you. But the electrical's coming along. So there you can see my receptacle boxes going down at least one side. And because of the doors over here, I think there's a couple places in there, it may be a little bit over 10 feet between outlets. But for most part, on the running wall, it's just every 10 feet. And again, between those 2 doors, you may say, why do I have 2 doors so close together? Well, right there in between them, we're going to run a dividing wall to divide the shop into 2 different areas. So I wanted to be able to have access again to that side where I'll be having a lean-to at some point in time from both shop areas. So that's the reason we have the 2 doors like that. What I've been working on the last couple of weeks has been pulling the wire for the lights in here, and I've got all these boxes put in, all the wire pulled to them, where we will have individual fixtures up there. Leaning toward LED, I haven't purchased any lights actually yet, but I'm looking at probably 4-foot LED fixtures, similar to a fluorescent fixture, but they'll have LED bulbs in them. Or not bulbs, but LED lights in them rather than the bulbs that's like in a fluorescent fixture. And those are every 10 feet running down the length, and then 6 feet apart from each other up there. So we should have plenty of light when all that stuff gets wired in. Buying all these fixtures, I'm probably going to have to do them a little bit at a time. They're expensive, and there's a lot of them in here. So I'll probably be buying a few, at least getting where I can turn some light on in here, and then as I can save up some money, we'll buy more lights and so forth, and until we get it done. A lot of things to do in this shop, and still a lot of money to spend on it as I go forward. So my plan of attack going forward is, number 1, and top priority for me right now, is get all the electrical work done here. All that is left as I am shooting this video is doing the lights down the center section here. And it's a pretty good ways up there. When I was doing the light fixtures on the side, I got some rolling scaffolding that I was able to just kind of get up on and basically work. So I wasn't having to go up and down a ladder. I had more of a platform to stand on. It worked really well, but the center section is so high. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rent a scissor lift and come in here and put my light fixture boxes in. I'm going to put some ceiling fan fixtures in up there as well. And I'm actually going to go ahead. I showed you in the previous video the little green industrial looking lights. Those are going to kind of hang down in here. I've ordered some stuff to get all that stuff wired up, and as soon as I get those put together, as I'm wiring it, I'm going to go ahead and install those and hang them in here, so I don't have to. So when I have my scissor lift here, I can basically get in here and be done with all the electrical up top, and that's probably going to be a week or 2 away, just because of I'm going to need a couple of days in a row that I can work on this pretty much uninterrupted, and it's going to be a couple of weeks before I can have time to do that because of my work schedule and some family things we got going on. So once the electrical work is done, another very high priority for me before I get much farther along is I want to put a sealer on the concrete floor, and probably going to do one half of the shop. I'm going to move everything, to the back side of the shop. I'll have to get in here with a pressure washer and some acid, clean the floor, get it good and clean and ready, then come in here and spray on some sealer, let that dry, and then move everything from that side of the shop to this side of the shop and seal it up over there. I'm really trying hard not to put anything more in here than I absolutely have to right now. I had to move these 2 machines because we just had to, and I don't have any place else to put them, but I don't want to move anything else in here until I get through the floor, just so that we can be done with it. And really don't want to put any machines in here until I get through the electrical and some of the other stuff, because it's just going to be in my way. Once that's done, next priority for me is going to be putting insulation into the ceiling and into the walls up high. And I know I've had several of you comment, hey, you're going to get sweating in here because you don't have any insulation in the roof. And you're absolutely right. That roof will sweat without any insulation up under it. And that's a very high priority for me to get that done, to get that insulated. Once it gets insulated, you won't get that temperature change between the 2 surfaces. You won't get that condensation up under the bottom. And as long as while I'm putting the insulation up, I'm probably going to put some type of covering. I haven't decided what yet. Don't want to do drywall in here. I don't want to have a white look. I want to have more of a barn look. So probably looking at some type of sheet goods of some kind to put up there on the ceiling to get all that in there. And then from there, you know, I'll probably start moving machinery in here and moving forward, build my dividing wall. And then at some point in time, we'll put insulation on the outside walls and put, again, some type of sheathing on those, wall coverings on those. Probably going to just put some plywood on them. Again, I like the look of wood, and I don't really want to go with drywall. I don't want it to have that kind of a finished look. I want it to look more like a barn. Anyway, that's where we are on the shop right now. A lot of work still to do. I've told you about the work that needs to be done. Once I get my electrical done, guys, my plan is that I'm probably gonna, until then, I'm pretty much just working on the shop. I'm not doing a lot of projects. Yes, I got one thing I gotta do this weekend. It'll probably be a shop video, but then I'm back to working on the shop. And once I get the electrical stuff done and the top done, then I'm probably gonna go to where I'm alternating weekends. You know, I'll go work in the shop one weekend, shoot some videos for you guys, do some stuff out at the museum, and then work on this shop, because there's a lot of work still to do in here before I can really get it set up and get machinery moved in here and get it to where we can work on this. So quite honestly, it'll probably be this fall before I really start working in here, just knowing how much time I have to put into it and also how much money I've got to spend to get to where I can really start working in here. But anyway, that's where we're at. Thank you guys for watching. We'll hopefully have some shop content for you guys next week. And thank you for hanging in there. Thanks for watching my dream come true. I hear from your comments. I'm excited about it. And I know a lot of you guys are just excited watching this and getting to see some of this stuff happen. And I've heard from a lot of you guys who are in the process of building some shops and whatever, and borrowing ideas from mine and sharing your ideas with me. That's been a lot of fun. So anyway, this has been literally a lifelong dream of mine, and it's really nice to see it coming true. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.